You know the one good thing about New Trek? It makes me appreciate Enterprise. Welcome to Tachyon Pulse Podcast, part of the scitrek family.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
I've done videos over on Scitrek, our sister channel, a couple of times, basically saying I didn't really like Enterprise. Which really disappointed me, because actually Scott Bakula was, when he was announced to be Captain Archer, I was just like, oh yeah, that is good. I'm a big fan of Quantum Leap. I love T'Pol. And just the characters and everything were really good. I didn't love the design of the Enterprise, but I could see why they did it. And I actually think they did a really good job getting the sort of technology right, that it felt like it could be before the original series, but also did fit with sort of where technology is for us now, etc. They did a really, really good job of that. I liked how they developed some of the technology over the 4 years. I wish we'd got a 5th season. I wish basically in the start of the 4th season they'd done the upgrade to the Enterprise. So the Enterprise had an engineering section added. You can get the model for it, and it was planned for the 5th season, but it obviously got cancelled. So that was 5th season, wasn't it? Get into the comments if I've made that mistake. 4 seasons, wasn't there? Not 5. Anyway, they then got cancelled. It was planned for the next season, got cancelled. So I actually think if they'd have done that at the end of the Zindy conflict, when the Enterprise was battered, that would have made sense, and I think it would have sparked a bit of interest in Enterprise. Enterprise, though, its biggest weakness for me was the temporal conflict, the temporal Cold War. If they'd have just not bothered with that and concentrated on the Federation, I think it would have been a way better series. Just concentrate on the conflict between the species and how they then come together. Because that were the Andorians, etc. And Jeffrey Combs, the ever-loving Jeffrey Combs, the ever-busy, when Star Trek was good, Jeffrey Combs, was actually really, really interested in some of the best Star Trek episodes. I just wish they'd done that, and I think the show would have been more successful. But watching New Trek now, with all the money they spend on it, I go back and watch Enterprise, and I'm actually realising it was way better than I sort of appreciated at the time. I think this suffered a little bit in the similar way that SGU did, in that it's different to the other Star Treks. And maybe having the singing has been a long road. That didn't go down well. But SGU, Stargate Universe, was different to SG1 and SGA. And I think fans took a bit of time to get used to that idea. And if it had gone on, SGU, I think, if it had gone into a 3rd season, I think it would have got 7 seasons. But fans panicked a little bit. They were like, what's this? I don't like it. Oh, it's different. I think we had a similar reaction with Enterprise. Because actually Enterprise had some of the best Star Trek episodes I'd ever seen. I honestly think Regenerations is one of the best episodes of Star Trek. Full stop. Yes, alright, the way the series ended, with Jonathan Frakes and Will Riker and Deanna Troi, and the whole thing that was it real, was it not, and did Trip really die, and all of that. Not a good way to end the series. Nobody would disagree with that, but I don't think they really knew they were getting cancelled until quite late on in series 4, and they threw that together. I could see what they were going for, but it didn't work. As a season finale, I actually think it would have been fine, but as a series finale, as the last ever Enterprise episode, it didn't work. I just think, though, that as a whole, the series was really, really clever and actually is aged really well. Things like them developing Red Alert, I love that. It's so clever, it was really good. And actually, I didn't love the whole Zindy thing at the time, but I look back on it now, and I do like it more. Even though, in a way, it didn't really make sense because we'd never heard of the Zindy before. But actually, if you look at the way Strange New Worlds is doing a very similar thing to Enterprise, Enterprise did it better. Now, Strange New Worlds is good. I like when Strange New Worlds is good. It's really, really good. It's the best of the new Trek. I don't love every episode. You know I don't. I've mentioned it before. K-pop, Klingons, for God's sake. But when it's good, it's really good. It's just a bit. Second season in particular was a bit. But the way they do things like the Gorn, for example, it doesn't really make sense, because we know the Gorn become members of the Federation eventually, because in a couple of the movies we've seen Gorn sat in the audience sort of things, representatives of the Federation. You know, they're like, you know, Starfleet Command sort of thing. There's Gorn sat there, which, when the Gorn from the original series was there, you could almost sort of believe it, because they were a spacefaring race, and I know they are obviously in Strange New Worlds as well, but they weren't quite as vicious and quite as scary. And the whole way that they like breed and stuff in Strange New Worlds is just like, whoa, that's that okay. How do they then become a member of the Federation? It doesn't quite make sense. Also, Enterprise did sort of do little Easter eggs and things for what followed. Strange New Worlds does, but it does it again badly. For example, Pike isn't supposed to know Kirk, but Kirk turns up all the time. I keep joking, it's like this week he's turned up and he's like, I forgot my keys. You know, it's just getting stupid. And unnecessary, and they are stepping on canon to the point where the argument to say that Strange New Worlds isn't Prime Universe, it's a different universe, it's Kurtzman Star Trek, Kurtzverse, it does make sense to me. And to be honest, even though I hate multiverse stuff, I just think it's lazy. It is the only way at this point that sort of it's almost acceptable, and the way to move forward. Enterprise didn't do that. It did a little bit, but it used the whole temporal Cold War thing as a way to get around it. Strange New Worlds just didn't sort of bother. It's just sort of gone, we're just going to do what we want. And that's the whole thing with New Trek, to be honest. That's what he does, isn't it? It's what Kurtzman does. He takes Star Trek, which he was never a fan of, and he just sort of goes, we'll just do what we want with it. And if the fans don't like it, they can just watch something else. And we have, in our millions. So yeah, maybe we shouldn't watch New Trek. Maybe we should just watch the original Trek again, including Enterprise. That's what I've started doing. And oh my god, it's good. I'm really enjoying it. Far more than I'm going to be enjoying Strange New Worlds in a few weeks, I imagine. And way more than I enjoyed Section 31. Because that was bad. I might have mentioned it. Ugh. But guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. Does what's going on with New Trek make you appreciate the old Trek a bit more? The first two seasons of TNG weren't great, but they're better than anything New Trek is doing, in my opinion. Does the same thing happen really with Stargate Universe, so that these things were just better back then? Get into the comments, tell me what you think. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/scitrek, where most of our new videos do premiere first, and you get to see them without the adverts. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.